All right then, guys. In the last session, you looted the egg chamber, finding not just odds and ends, which equated to around 150 gold, but something far rarer. Answers, and a crucible ring. An ancient relic of metamagic potential. Though clearly fractured, it still held plenty of power. You left the empty, silent Sealight village behind, pressing north through terrain that twisted from flat tundra into steep, unpredictable gradients. The cold worsened. The air thickened. Eventually you reached the Shard Choir, pillars of ice that whispered memory and madness. And then came the voices, your own, echoing from the past. Strange, out-of-order fragments of your lives carried on the wind. You pressed on, only to find yourselves walking in circles, the choir dragging you back again and again. Tensions rose, truths slipped out, Raarh's shit-based navigation strategy included, and you finally solved the puzzle. If you can hear a voice, you're going the wrong way. Exhausted, you moved forward, trudging through the ice fog one final time. It felt like an hour, but then you emerged and immediately gained 2 levels of exhaustion. It had, in fact, been days. And what you saw? A mountain made of crystal blue ice, ridges like wings, frost like art, frozen waterfalls suspended midair, and behind it, a perfectly clear sky. For the first time in what feels like forever, the heavens are open. So guys, what would you like to do?
Have we had our sleep yet, Joe?
I can't remember if you actually bedded down or not, but let's not split hairs. Let's just say you've had your long rest, which means one of your exhaustion levels is gone, so only one remains.
Lovely. I stretch out my arms, cracking my neck. So, Glass Mountain, what are we thinking? Mosey over, have a look, risk our lives for some shiny snow?
Depends. Depends if it's going to offer anything worthwhile. I wouldn't mind hitting the Ethereum without another exhaustion penalty dragging my balls across the tundra, you know? Killing a bit more time might not be the worst plan.
Where are we even in relation to the Ethereum now? I mean, yeah, we made it through the mist, but who's to say we're even on the right side of it? What if we got spun around again without knowing?
Well, I don't remember no goddamn Glass Mountain on the other side of...
Hold up, wait a second. Saxy, try flying. See if it works now. I still don't know whether that limitation was from the fog, the sea lights, the egg. Maybe all of it?
Yeah, all right. Joe, I'm firing up the thrusters. I raise a gauntlet, and steam hisses as the mechanisms prime. I ascend 200 feet straight up, then I try to fly forward and back, left and right, seeing if I hit any invisible wall crap.
The metal roars softly as the jets ignite, kicking up snow in a tight spiral around your boots. You rise cleanly into the air, 10 feet, 50, 200, cutting through the still clear sky. No resistance. As you bank forward and back, the movement is smooth. No pull, no stutter, nothing stopping you, just pure open air.
Yeah, I can move absolutely fine now. Total freedom.
That's a relief. We should have tested it sooner. Still no clue if it was the egg, the fog, or something to do with the sea light's weird aura. But we're through it now.
I'll double check. Joe, I dive back down and then shoot a few hundred feet into the fog cloud just to test if the restrictions tied to that mist.
The fog welcomes you back like a half-forgotten dream. Its cold fingers curling around your armor, muffling sound, shrinking visibility. But you fly unhindered. No resistance. The thrusters slice through it with ease.
All right, I bank around and shoot back to the group. I land with a hiss of steam. So, it was nothing to do with the fog, it was something else. Maybe the egg, which I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, if it was the egg and we've stomped its aura into the snow, that's a win, right? I'd rather not be magically grounded if we need to get airborne.
Who knows? Doesn't really matter now. Whatever it was, it's behind us. Let's just not lose our footing on what's ahead.
So back to the actual topic, finding the Ethereum. No point climbing a giant blue crystal dong if it ain't pointing us the right way. I think the smartest thing we can do now is cast Divination.
Yeah, smart. You want me to do it?
Fine by me. Go ahead, knock yourself out.
All right then. I drop to one knee, pulling out my circle of silver incense, tracing the infernal runes. I nip the tip of my finger with my teeth and begin flicking splats of blood over each rune. Then I cast Divination.
Nice. All right then. You all watch as Celestia begins the rite, drawing a spiked circle into the snow with crimson ash, laced with flickers of hellish copper and specks of blood. Each point of the pentagram glows, then sparks, then ignites into blue flame licked with red. Smoke coils upward in tight spirals. Celestia, you feel a presence.
Nice. My question is this. Which direction do we need to go to find the Eterian? There's a very cool-looking ice mountain nearby, and we're kind of vibing with the idea of checking it out. But we don't even know if we're in the right place for the actual objective.
You're in the right place. Near enough. You'll want to head east. Around 200 miles. Then that mountain you're eyeing, it's still around 100 miles north, believe it or not. Yes, it's just that massive. 16,000 meters tall. That's 10 miles. With a diameter of nearly 50. It does not merely tower. It swallows the sky.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate the sudden geography lesson, but how exactly do you expect us to know which way east is? Like, is there a fancy compass you can give me, or...
How about you use the sun?
Huh. Yeah, that's fair. All right, guys. So, Vizuriel says we're basically near the Eterian's location. We need to head 200 miles east to get close. And that giant mountain over there? It's still another 100 miles north. It just looks closer because it's obscenely huge. Like 10 miles tall.
10 miles tall? That's a goddamn middle finger from the planet itself.
Either way, we've got our heading. East it is.
True. If it's going to be another 200 miles east, then that's a whole bunch more polymorphs and at least a few nights of camping with Raarh's delightful snoring.
This travel sucks ass.
All right, before we get stuck into more travel, I just want to clear something up about polymorphing into creatures like giant eagles. So technically, in Raarh rules, a giant eagle has a fly speed of 80 feet per round. And yeah, that sounds decent until you do the math. That's 80 feet every 6 seconds, which works out to 800 feet per minute or 48,000 feet per hour. Convert that, that's about 9 miles per hour. 9 miles per hour.
Yep, that's literally what I said. Kind of bogus.
That's horse speed, jogging speed. You're telling me this colossal aerial apex predator, and with a wingspan the size of a house and the strength to lift humanoids, flies just fast enough to get overtaken by a fat merchant on a donkey? Nah, not in this world. So here's the ruling moving forward. Out of combat, I'm not chaining you to the Raarh leash. We're going with narrative common sense. A creature like a giant eagle should cruise at 60 miles per hour, easy, and even faster with a tailwind or when diving. That's what real-world birds of prey can manage. And these are magic beasts, not pigeons. So yeah, if you polymorph into something that's clearly built for fast, long-distance aerial travel, we're going to treat it that way. No stopwatch, no micromanaging, just vibes, narrative logic, and respect for the sheer size and capability of what you're transforming into. Combat? Rules is written, fair's fair. Travel? We're going to treat flying like it's actually worth doing.
That's honestly kind of based. Makes the spell more strategic, too.
So what you're saying is, I can still throw Mite at someone mid-air from an eagle, but now, if I do it outside of combat, I can actually yeet him like at missile speed.
Not really, because a tomahawk is like 10 times that speed, and hypersonic ones are over 100 times. But hey, I'm sure you could find a way.
Fantastic. I've always wanted to be weaponized.
This makes moving around so much smoother. Good call, Joe.
Ha, cheers. It just didn't make sense otherwise, and it's been gnawing at me the last couple of times you've done it.
So we can get to that mountain within the next 2 polymorphs, right? And get from the bottom to the top in like 10 minutes?
No, see, that right there is exactly what I'm not going to let slide.
Huh? What have I done?
You're taking my realism and trying to twist it into Saturday morning cartoon logic. No bird, none, is flying straight up at 60 miles an hour like it's strapped to a goddamn rocket.
I beg to differ. Ever heard of the SR-71 Blackbird? Fastest aircraft in history, named after a bird. That counts.
That is literally a military jet.
And
absolutely not what you're polymorphing into.
Point being?
You're transforming into a giant eagle, not a stealth bomber. There's no SR-71 squawking and flapping its way to Mach 3 in this setting. Now, realistically speaking, let's say your giant eagle equivalent is strong, aerodynamic, built for endurance, not a hummingbird, not a glider. Somewhere between a golden eagle and a mythical rock, a vertical ascent at full effort, you're maybe doing 20 to 25 miles per hour going up max, but that's under ideal conditions with 0 wind resistance, no passengers, and assuming magical stamina. Now you're talking about a vertical climb of 52,800 feet, 10 miles straight up. At 20 miles per hour vertically, that's roughly 30 minutes of near vertical ascent, best case. And I mean best case. If you're carrying a friend, It's gonna slow you down. Wind shear at those heights is no joke either.
So we're looking at 2 polymorphs to get there, and another for the actual ascent, if that's what we wanted to do.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, let's just break it down. Is there an actual reason why we'd want to visit it?
I mean, aside from it being one of the coolest damn landmarks I've ever seen, not really. No wild signals, no magical anomalies, just a really, really big mountain.
Yeah, I say we save the sightseeing for after we save the world, priorities.
I'll admit, I'm curious, but curiosity doesn't outrank survival.
Curiosity killed the cat.
What? I'm so confused.
Look, if it turns out to be a giant frozen steakhouse, you'll regret skipping it. But fine, I'll play along.
I tell you what then, after we've got the Eterian, we can circle back and see what this icy monolith's really about. Deal?
Deal!
That way, we've actually made some real progress on our main mission. And if we die, at least it won't be at the base of a glorified ice sculpture.
I've been thinking. We're not making the best use out of polymorphs here, especially with that shiny new ring you picked up, Tronald. How about this? And hear me out. Only one of you polymorphs into a giant eagle. Then I cast Enlarge on the eagle. That boosts its mass 8-fold, size doubles, which means instead of 2 people awkwardly straddling its back like a budget air taxi, now we're talking 5 of us soaring like nobility. Then we just keep casting polymorph on whoever's the eagle, back to back, no real breaks. And with your Crucible ring, assuming you only use Extend Spell twice, we've got 14 polymorphs in one day. 2 of those lasting 2 hours instead of 1. That's 16 hours of flight, minimal downtime, long-range traversal. Now, sure, I can only toss out Enlarge 5 times a day, so I'd need 1 or 2 of you to prep it too, just to keep the chain going, but what do you think?
Yeah, it's good, really good, except for one tiny little catastrophic detail. Enlarge only lasts a minute, so yeah, not gonna work.
Fuck, I can't believe I overlooked that. God damn it, that was such a clean plan.
Don't beat yourself up, brother. That kind of thinking, it's sharp. That's the edge we need to stay ahead out here. Just because the spell won't stretch doesn't mean the idea was bad.
Appreciate it. Still, we can run it smarter. 4 of us can cast polymorph, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Right. Okay, so I fly by myself, obviously. Raarh can fly if he really needs to, but his wings are all conditional, and brooding darkness, and, oh, the shadows must be just right. So let's just say, for the sake of the plan, he's grounded.
Yeah, fair enough. The Green Bear Elk Batman god is not known for his aerial speed. I'll sit this one out.
Okay, so 2 of you become eagles. That covers 4 riders, 2 per eagle. Add me in the air solo, and Raarh on one of you, by himself because, he's fat.
You fucking what, mate?
Point being, that gives us 7 total hours in the sky.
So we rotate through polymorphs in pairs?
Exactly, 4 casters, 7 polymorphs across the day if we ration right. And Joe said these birds move at 60 miles per hour, so what, that's 420 miles, maybe more.
Close. Just a heads up, if an eagle's carrying 2 folks, you're gonna slow a bit. Drop from 60 to more like 45 miles an hour. Strain, weight, wind resistance, all that. But yeah, the math still works. You could cover around 315 to 350 miles with good pacing and minimal rest between swaps.
Still a damn good system. Gets us further, faster, without wasting slots or stretching spells past their limit.
All right, so let's lock it in. The Eterian's 200 miles east, 3 and a bit hours. So 4 polymorphs will get us there. Rounding it up. Can't exactly use part of a spell slot. You guys want to split the casts? 2 polymorphs each? Or should one pair bite the bullet and burn through all 4?
That'd be dumb. One group taking all the load means they're tapped if anything hits us later. We do 2 each. Equal footing, no weak links.
Fair point. Besides, kind of poetic, yeah? 4 polymorphers, 4 rounds. Feels balanced.
Balanced until someone throws down an anti-magic field like that bastard in black armor. Then it's all feathered panic.
Which is why we keep one very angry, very stabby, slashy Raarh on standby.
Damn right.
Big, green, mean, and lean.
All right, enough chit-chat. Joe, I start us off. Polymorph, let's fly.
I'll take first shift with you, buddy.
Neat. So me and Alden are first, Joe.
Tronald, you twist your fingers and mutter a single arcane syllable that tastes like raw wind. Your form stretches, bursts, snaps, and feathers unfurl in a violent bloom. You emerge as a colossal ginger-feathered eagle, plumage rustling like autumn leaves set aflame with eyes like smoldering embers. Alden, your transformation is a little less restrained. The air hums as arcane pressure builds around you. Then, boom, a flash of sapphire light. Static dances down your spine. Feathers glint like frost-lit lightning. And in your place stands a storm-born electric blue eagle, eyes sharp, wings humming with barely contained charge.
Just FYI, Joe, I used an extended meta magic charge from my crucible ring.
Neat.
I'm taking the spicy chicken. I climb on Tronald's back, firm grip on the feathers.
I jump onto Alden, Joe.
All right, Bluebird, be gentle. I hop up behind Celestia.
Let's do this. I activate my thrusters and take off beside them.
Sweet. Okay. And just like that, the 6 of you are airborne. 2 titanic eagles tear across the sky with riders perched like kings on thrones of muscle and feathers. Saxy keeps pace, rocketing alongside in his signature arc of blue-white propulsion, cutting ribbons through the frozen sky. The world below once again becomes a smear. White dunes, jagged ridges, endless frost. The air is razor thin up here, but clear, clearer than any southern air. Every breath tastes ancient. For 2 hours, you fly. Nothing but wind and silence and the rhythmic beat of wings. The only interruption, a quick stop for Alden to recast. The vastness of the north stretches endlessly ahead of you. Then, without a word, Alden and Tronald arc downward. With a flick of magic, your forms drop, shifting back to flesh and bone. You land. Switch places. Mite and Celestia take the eagle form now, feathers replacing fingers, talons slamming into the ice as their bodies expand. Then, the journey resumes. Half an hour later, you see it, the edge of the world. A horizon of shattered silver and screaming cold. The northeastern sea, where frost reigns and the water obeys no tide. From this height, you see it stretch to infinity, a blackened mirror wreathed in icy breath. Massive spires of blue ice erupt from the sea like spears hurled by ancient titans, twisted into impossible shapes, curved like tusks, serrated like blades. Some pierce the clouds themselves, others spiral downward like drills frozen mid-turn. You see entire glacial bridges spanning between peaks of ice, like the skeletal remains of leviathans that once walked the deep. And beneath the surface, movement. Something huge drifts just under the frozen water line. For a moment, it feels like it's watching you. This isn't a sea. It's a graveyard for the gods.
Celestia might fly us another 30 minutes until this polymorph is nearly up, then land us.
Cow!
And so they do. Mite and Celestia's enormous wings carve the sky for another 30 minutes. Then, slowly, your descent begins. You glide down in formation, the wind catching your feathers just right, until you touch down atop a jagged, icy outcropping, half cliff, half glacier. Below you, the frozen land stretches all the way to the razor-thin horizon. Behind you, the sea looms.
Holy shit, did you see that?
What, the colossal, impossible ice structures that defy geometry, or the thing that moved beneath them like a sleeping god turning over in its dreams?
Both.
It was beautiful, but not the kind of beautiful you trust. That's the kind of view you bow to, not because you want to, because it demands it. You look at something like that and you realize how small you are.
Indeed it does. But let me offer a deduction. I think that shift under the water, the movement, was nothing but an optical illusion. Think about it. We were what, 50 miles away? There isn't anything alive that big, not anymore.
Joe, how reasonable is she sounding right now?
Give me an intelligence check, Celestia.
Guidance on myself. 17, Joe.
Okay, nice. You steady your thoughts, Celestia, recalling ancient texts, teachings whispered in candlelight, the logic of observation. You're confident. It looked like movement, yes, but it doesn't add up. From 50 miles away, a creature would have to be utterly titanic to register that kind of displacement. World-breaking. Sure, maybe in the first age before the war between the gods, but now? No. You suspect what you saw was something more explainable. Colossal pillars of ice, bobbing and twisting beneath the current, momentarily visible, then swallowed again by the sea. Optical trickery, aided by fatigue and high altitude. But part of you still wonders.
Well, I don't know about illusions, but if that was ice moving like that, then ice just became my new phobia. Add that to the list right next to magical ink and Raarh's morning breath.
Hey, I'll have you know my breath smells like smoked elk.
If the elk was left to rot and fester beneath a pile of sea light shit for 2 months, sure.
Can we please, for the love of the gods, focus? Because Celestia is probably right, yeah, but probably doesn't exactly comfort me when I'm staring into the abyss. That ocean's got secrets.
They all do. Oceans, mountains, ruins, empires. I mean, just look at our own knowledge. A month ago, I wasn't alive, and you guys thought mountains were just inanimate rock. But now, we know they're alive. Hrimvaldir's people. My guess is the sea is the same, and it's just a matter of how deep you're willing to dive before something pulls you under.
Philosophical, but I agree. We're searching for something that hasn't seen the light of day since the time of the Omnitheon. God knows what's under that ice.
Well, we're about to find out.
I mean, couldn't it just be empty? So that's a sound idea, right? Just a big old freezer with no boss fight at the back? I'd be okay with that.
I seriously doubt that.
What are we even looking for? I've never seen so much, and yet so little at the same time. If you were an Eterian, you wouldn't just chill out on a cliff edge with a welcome mat.
No, you'd be buried deep, guarded by more than walls and monsters. Time itself would be your prison.
Vizuriel said as much, remember? Buried deep within the frozen wastes, beneath a city long lost to time, a tomb of frost and ruin.
Right. And he said the winds there aren't just gusts. They're storms that devour. Only the desperate or the foolish go near.
We're both, so that works out.
What session was that again?
94.
How, bro? How the fuck do you just remember this shit so quick?
Dunno. Anyway, so, what? We're digging through snow until we hit a city-sized tomb?
Not quite. We don't need to brute force it. There'll be something. A marker, a pattern in the ice, a vent, a shift in temperature. We look for anomalies.
Yeah, something ancient poking through the snow. Anything not made by the wind or the cold.
Joe, I'm taken to the skies. Just want a top-down read as we go, scanning for anything out of place. Anything that doesn't belong.
Let's be thorough, yeah? Joe, I take eagle form again.
Same here. Stretching the wings one more time, baby.
All right. Celestia and Mite erupt into feathers and fury, wings catching the wind as they soar skyward, with Alden, Tronald, and Raarh on their backs. Saxi, your thrusters hiss and ignite, flaring blue against the pale sky. This is the final leg. 20 minutes of flight left, give or take. The air grows sharper here, biting through even magical warmth. As you all rise into it, eyes sweep the ice below. It stretches endlessly, unbroken, blank, until it isn't. Give me a perception check. One of you, advantage.
Want me to give it a go?
Sure.
Brilliant. I rolled a 12. And our bard and our guidancer are both feathered.
All right. Hang on, that's 17. Not awful. I'll give you a flash of genius.
Nice save.
Thanks.
So, about 15 minutes in, Alden, you're looking over the side, the low, dull hum of Saxi's suit behind you, and something clicks. You squint down through the ever-shifting haze. The ice doesn't look quite right. Not cracked, not broken. But there's a subtle shift in tone, a gentle bloom of lighter blue spreading in a massive oval formation a few miles across. Like paint just barely bleeding through parchment, the kind of thing you'd never see unless you were looking. The deeper ice has this dull granite density, ages old, compressed and opaque. But this section is fresher, not thinner, but looser somehow. Just enough to imply there's space beneath it. Something vast. It's like staring at a lake that's long since frozen solid.
Hey guys, I think I've...
It's then. The sky shatters. A torrent of wind slams into you like a divine backlash, not a gust, not weather. A wall of pressure that screams across the frozen wasteland, howling up from the east like some ancient god had just exhaled. It hits with the sound of tearing cloth and roaring steel, 1,000 invisible knives slicing the air apart, razors against your cheeks, eyes, lungs. Give me a dexterity saving throw, Tronald, Alden, Raarh. Saxi, give me an intelligence saving throw. Celestia and Mite, give me a constitution saving throw.
What the hell?
What now?
The fuck's going on?
Oh, come on. That's a natural 2.
9 total over here.
Neat. That's an 18 for me, Joe.
Yuck, an 11 for me.
Oh, a 4, great.
And that's a 26 for me, Joe.
Saxi, you see it just a heartbeat before it hits, reading spiking, pressure trembling across your visor. You brace, thrusters whining as you angle against the surge. Your body shudders, but you cut through it like a blade in a hurricane, engines flaring bright behind you. You stay airborne. Barely. Tronald, you feel it coming. Maybe it's instinct, maybe something else, but you dig your fingers into the eagle's feathers, hunch low, and grit your teeth. You're battered, eyes stinging, robes snapping in the wind. But you hold. Just barely.
God damn.
But the rest of you, Celestia, Your wing seize. The sheer force punches through your eagle form like a divine fist, and you're thrown sideways, your flight collapsing into a tumbling spiral. The world tips violently. One wing folds beneath you, the other catches air. Wrong, all wrong. Snow streaks your vision, feathers rip free into the gale, and your scream is drowned before it ever leaves your beak. Mite, you're only a few wing beats away, but the moment Celestia goes down, the current catches you too. Not even a chance to adjust. Your eagle body twists mid-air, slammed into a spin. Your right wing slaps hard against an updraft. Snap, not broken, but burning with strain. The wind is chewing the sky, and you're flailing inside its teeth. You try to scream. It comes out a panicked screech, half beast, half man, echoing off the ice far, far below. And then, Raarh. You watch it happen. One moment you're clinging to Tronald, roaring into the cold. The next, the eagle bucks. The wind hooks your leg and you're gone. No footing, no grip, just weightlessness. The kind that makes your stomach vanish before your body does. You spin backwards, sky, ice. Your roar trails behind you like a war cry cut short. And below you, Alden. He's already falling, twisting, spinning like a loose arrow. He doesn't yell, he's too stunned. His cloak snaps violently in the wind, flailing like wings that never learned how to fly. You lock eyes for just a second as you plummet together, two of you, falling. Everyone apart from Tronald and Saxy takes 30 slashing damage. What do you all do?
Shit. I wrench my arm around, fighting the wind as I fumble for a feather. I can't see a damn thing, just a blur of ice and sky and the flash of Raarh's silhouette spiraling beside me. Raarh, hold on, I've got featherfall.
Hold on to fucking what?
Give me a straight D20 roll.
That's an 8.
You flick the feather, words catch in your throat, and the magic just sputters. A flicker, like a candle in a hurricane. Nothing.
Fuck me in the icy asshole!
Oh shit, Joe, I dive after.
You try, but your wings jitter and lock for a split second. The impact of that wind is still in your bones. You can't move. Not yet.
What about me, Joe?
Nope.
I see them. I'm going. I pull my body flat and tilt into the nosedive, activating thrusters to full capacity.
Ha! Okay, so you're overloading your thrusters?
Yes.
Give me a straight D20.
That's a 14.
Awesome. Now give me an intelligence saving throw.
That's a 12, so a flash of genius, 17.
So, as you punch your thrusters, Saxy, you overload the engines, slamming heat through the conduits, pushing every ounce of arcane juice into raw forward momentum. But the sky doesn't care. A wall of wind slams into you like the backhand of a god. Your engines flicker, then choke. Then, the wind freezes around your limbs. Your thrusters snuff out, the glow dimming to nothing. You drop like a stone.
No, what the hell?
You also take 28 points of slashing damage.
Fuck!
To hell with this. Joe, I swan dive off the eagle like Gandalf chasing the Balrog.
You fucking nut job!
Did he actually just?
He dove. He fucking dove.
Tronald, you're falling like a comet, nose first. No fear. The ice-streaked wind claws at your cloak, your teeth grit, and somewhere in your mind you hear a distant choir humming the soundtrack to your insanity.
I've got a theory. Time to put it to the test. Joe, I'm accelerating like a lunatic, arms tucked in, aerodynamic as shit. I'm assuming the rest are flaring out, trying to resist.
Absolutely. I'm trying to slow myself like a glider with no wings.
Yeah, same.
Then how long does it take me to catch up with them?
It'll take about 2 rounds to catch up if nothing else goes wrong.
Can me and Mite dive now, Joe?
You can, but being set back 2 rounds means it's gonna be tight. And you both need to make a constitution save to push past the stun.
13.
19.
Celestia, you're fine. You tear through the wind like a silver streak, but Mite, the wind slams into you. So, 42 points of slashing damage. Ribbons of blood trail from your eagle form.
Oh, neat. I'm down.
Shit. I abandon the dive and bank off course, catching Mite's limp form in my talons. I try to realign, Joe, but I know I've lost them.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen now. They're too far ahead.
Perhaps this would be a good moment to give me full control. I believe we're about to die.
Joe, I try and cast polymorph on myself, turn into a giant eagle.
Give me an intelligence save. You're plummeting.
21?
Frickin' awesome. You catch Saxy. Thud. Then Raarh. Thud.
Joe, I pivot upwards, positioning underneath Tronald.
Okay, thud! You manage to scoop him up, though the weight nearly snaps your spine mid-air. You're overburdened now. Your wings creak, snowflakes slicing past you like shrapnel. You don't fly so much as glide, barely.
Right, okay. I just kind of float down the rest of the way, trying to keep as stable as possible. No sudden movements.
I'm with him. I swoop in close and match his pace, bracing myself for that fucking wind.
You both level out, just above the jagged frost spine of an outcropping below. Alden, your wings are trembling now, overburdened. Every flap feels like it's trying to tear you in half, but somehow, you hold. Celestia, your feathers slice clean through the air as you descend with grace, now unperturbed by the atmosphere surrounding you. For the surrounding sky is quieter now, but it's not peace. Far from it. The wind hasn't stopped, true, but as you glance back over your shoulder, you see something. It's a split second, but a split second is all you need. You see a shimmering ribbon in the clouds, curling, turning, like something alive, something patrolling.
So what the fuck's that?
You can try find out next time because that is where we wrap up this session. See you later, guys.